From gun violence in liberal cities to illegal aliens killing Americans and Democrats accused of stealing money, leave it to the liberal media to ignore issues that actually matter in favor of the D.C. circus and their anti-Trump crusade. So as we head into impeachment week round 2, here are 4 major stories they won't cover, but that you should know about. A previously deported illegal alien has been charged in a DUI-related hit-and-run in New York State last week that left an American father of 3 dead. The Cayuga County Sheriff's Office said Herberto Perez Velasquez, a 31-year-old illegal alien from Guatemala, was drunk when he hit and killed 59-year-old Mark Knapp in Weedsport, New York on November 10th. Knapp, a retired electrician, was driving his tractor to have it cleaned when he was struck, thrown from the tractor, and killed on impact. In their report, police say Perez Velasquez fled the scene of the accident, but was ultimately caught, where officers determined that he was both drunk and driving without a license. Now, shockingly, Perez Velasquez had been arrested for drunk driving just 1 month prior to the accident that killed Knapp. But instead of being turned over to ICE for immigration violations, he was released by Wayne County with a notice to appear in court. Before all of this, he had been apprehended by Border Patrol agents in May of 2007 after illegally crossing the U.S.-Mexico border and was immediately deported back to Guatemala, but had returned to the U.S. illegally at some point since. Knapp leaves behind his wife, Sharon, their 3 children, and 1 grandson. Democratic 2020 contender Pete Buttigieg has been accused of lying after his camp sent out a list of 400 black South Carolinians who they said had endorsed both Buttigieg and his newly released plan for racial equality, except that apparently they hadn't. In an attempt to bolster his absolutely abysmal support among black Americans, Buttigieg rolled out his 18-page Douglas plan, which includes a slew of government promises like awarding 1/4 of all government contracts to minority-owned businesses and cutting the nation's prison population in half. His camp then issued a statement of endorsement that had supposedly been signed by 400 black South Carolinians who said they supported the plan. But according to reports, all 3 of the black politicians who supposedly endorsed the statement said they'd never done any such thing. 2 of them said they'd never endorsed the Douglas plan, including Johnny Cordero, chair of the state party's Black Caucus, and State Rep Ivory Thigpen. After digging further into the Buttigieg camp's claim, The Intercept discovered another disturbing tidbit about the group letter. Nearly half of its signers, 42% in fact, were white. On top of that, the campaign had used a stock photo from Kenya to accompany their statement. Oops. Speaking of sleazy politicians, the House Ethics Committee announced late last week that they have actually opened an investigation into Michigan Rep. Rashida Tlaib following reports that the Democratic Socialist used campaign money for personal use. The Office of Congressional Ethics recommended the investigation, saying that, quote, there is substantial reason to believe that Rep. Tlaib converted campaign funds from the Rashida Tlaib for Congress for personal use. Reports say that Tlaib told her campaign that she was struggling financially during the race and requested to receive a one-time payment of $5,000, then asked for a stipend of $2,000 every 2 weeks. Internal messages show the campaign agreed to funnel her the cash, saying that they would spin any potential controversy by claiming that Tlaib, quote, quit my job when no one else did, and I don't have a cushy government job to fall back on if I don't win. Hey, whatever helps you sleep at night, no matter how potentially illegal. And if anyone still cares, another 27 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend, including a 22-year-old man who was shot to death Sunday inside a Subway restaurant on the southeast side. Now that ends to the already staggering yearly total of shooting victims for the liberal Windy City. So far this year, more than 2,400 people have been shot in Chicago, 50 of those since October 25th, including a 7-year-old girl. And there you have it, folks. 4 stories, all of which should warrant headlines across the country, but will ultimately be ignored in favor of watching Democrats run around Capitol Hill like headless chickens, squawking about how sad they are that they have to impeach a president that they've hated since before he took office. And that's your Reality Check, America. If you liked this video, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook and Twitter, and as always, stay sane out there.